Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. Today in this session, we will learn about Oracle Fusion SCM inventory counting. So first we will understand that what is inventory counting. Inventory counting is the process of measuring, counting and recording the quantity of products or materials that are available in a company's storage or warehouse. So this helps businesses to maintain the accurate records of stock levels, detect discrepancies, and ensure the proper stock management. So, accurate inventory counting is a crucial for operational efficiency, customer satisfaction, and financial reporting. So, inventory accounting in an organization is required for the purpose of detecting the discrepancies between recorded inventory and actual inventory, and to monitor and control the inventory levels to avoid the overstocking or stockouts. To ensure the compliance with accounting and audit standards, inventory counting is required. To identify the damaged or obsolete stock, inventory counting is important. And to improve the forecasting and decision making, inventory counting is mandate. So there are two type of inventory counting methods. First is physical inventory counting and second is cycle inventory counting. So physical inventory counting, it is a comprehensive method of inventory counting where all stock is physically checked, counted, and verified within a certain period. The entire warehouse or storage area is shut down during the counting, and the employees or teams manually count each item in the stock. And the results are compared to the inventory in the management system. So, after the counting is performed, then discrepancies are noted and investigated. So, it is a structured approach to counting the company's stock, and company schedules a physical inventory count at the end of the reporting period, and it is done to keep all the records accurate. So for example, a retail store decides to perform a yearly inventory count. Over a weekend, all items in the store, example shoes, clothing and accessories, are counted one by one. For example, 100 units of black t-shirts are counted and the actual count is 95. So the discrepancy of the five units missing, which may indicate theft, loss, or recording errors. So by doing the physical inventory count, it provides an accurate and comprehensive count of all inventory, and it identifies issues like theft, damage, or shrinkage. So in Oracle Fusion, there is a process to do the physical inventory counting. So here is the process. First, we have to create a physical inventory. Then we have to create a snapshot. Then we have to generate the tags and run the schedule processes. Then we have to record the physical inventory that has been counted. Then we have to perform the adjustments as per the discrepancies. And then we have to post those adjustments. And then we have to look for our on-hand quantities available in the system. Then we can review our completed transactions at the end. So now we will perform this practically in our system. So for that, first we have to create a physical inventory. So to create a physical inventory, we will go to inventory management. And first we will look for the item quantities. So this is our BISP inventory organization. Here we have to see that we have items in this or not. So here are items. Item 101 and 102 and 100. Now we will go to our project, setup and maintenance. In this, we will click on task list and we'll click on manage implementation project. Overview. And in our project, I will click a task, manage physical inventory. First, we will look for our inventory organization, that it has been created or not. Manage inventory organization. And we will search with the name of our inventory organization. Here we can see this is our inventory organization that we have created. Now we have seen both the things, items and our inventory organization. Then now we will go on this supply chain execution part. And we'll go to the inventory management section. So in inventory management, we will click and select task of counts. And here is the option of managing the physical inventories. Now we will click on add and we'll name our physical inventory. Here I'm giving name BISP New York physical inventory. Here I will write BISP New York physical inventory as our description. And inventories, sub inventories to count. I will select specific. And while we are selecting specific sub inventories to count, we have to select our sub inventory. So here I'm selecting sub inventory third. And in the approval type, I'm selecting as always. And that means that we always need to approve the count. Now we have to define a tag. So I'm writing 102. So here we have created our physical inventory. Now after creating a sub in physical inventory, we will have to create a snapshot as per our second step. First step is creating a physical inventory. We have created a physical inventory. Now we will create a snapshot. So we will click on the section and we'll click on this fourth option, generate physical inventory snapshot. So the process is submitted. Now we have to click on this search. So here we can see that a snapshot is generated for our physical inventory. Now we have to follow a third step, that is generate tags. So we will go in the section area and then we will click on this generate physical inventory tags. So now we will click again on search. So we can see that for this we have generated physical tags. Now we will click on this done. Now we will see the next process, that is we have to run a schedule of physical inventory tag listing report. So now we have to click on this navigator and we'll go to schedule processes. And in the schedule process, we have to schedule a new process, that is physical inventory, tag listing report. No, it has to be some other like physical inventory, tag listing report. Now we have to click on OK. Then we have to provide the name of our organization, and then we have to select our physical inventory, that is BISP New York physical inventory. Now we will click on the submit, and here we can see our process number 104. So we will click on this refresh button. We can see our process is submitted. Now we'll click on this. And we'll click on this republish. And we'll see the tag list in the PDF format. So it has been created for our item 102. Tag is also 102. Locator is R2, RK2 and BN2. Now we'll see the next process, that is recording the physical inventory. So again we will go on the inventory portion. Supply chain execution, inventory management. We'll click on this task list and click on manage inventories, physical inventories. We'll search for our inventory. So now for this we will go on this actions and we'll record our physical inventory. Record physical inventory tags. Now we will write the count quantity. So the count quantity is 450. And in the counted by, we will select this name of a person who counted the inventory physically. So now we have selected our counted quantity, and also we have selected the counted by person name. Now we have to save this. Now in the actions portion, we have to follow the next step, that is to perform the adjustment. So here we have to do this physical inventory adjustments. So in the snapshot quantity, we know that in our system the quantity of this item 102 is 500, and during a physical count we got to know that it is actually 450. So we have to do the adjustment of this 50 quantity. So we have to select the reviewer, then we have to click on this approve as its adjustment status is showing as pending. So now we have to click on this approve. So now it is showing as approved. Now we have to save this. As we have, now we'll follow the next step. We have created a physical inventory, created a snapshot, generate tags, run the schedule process for tag listing, and then we have recorded our physical inventory counts. We have performed the adjustments and approved them as well. Now we have to post the adjustment. So we will click on this post physical inventory adjustments. So adjustment date we are selecting of today. So we have post the adjustments as well. Now we have to do the item quantity match, that our adjustment has been performed or not. So for that we will go on item manage item quantities. We will now first we will click on this search, and now you can see that adjustment posted is now checked, that it is posted. Our adjustments are posted. Now we can check for our item quantity. We will go to the navigator, and in the schedule process, so sorry, in the supply chain, in the inventory management portion, in the task list, we will select the task. First we will select the tasks of inventory, and this is our first task, manage item quantities. Our organization is already selected. So our item was 102. So previously the quantity of this item was 500, and now it has been changed to the actual physical count performed, that it was 450. So from 450 from 500 it has now changed to 450. So we will also now look for the completed transactions. So we have to review our completed transactions, and for item 102 this. For item 102, we can see that there is reduction of 50 quantities from this sub inventory. Okay, so in this way we can perform the physical inventory count, and then we have to make those changes in the system. So what we did is, first we have checked the quantity of an item in our system already. So previously it was 500. Then we have got the data of the physical inventory count that it is actually 450. Then we have recorded those changes and we have performed those adjustments. So now our system inventory quantity is matching with the physical count, the actual quantity of item that is present in our inventory. So in this way we can perform the physical count. Now the other method of counting is cycle count. So now we will learn about cycle counting. So what is cycle counting? Cycle counting is the uh, periodic counting of individual items throughout the course of year. And there can be, it is an alternative to physical counting where only a small subset of inventory is counted at regular intervals. So it can be daily, weekly, or monthly. So it involves dividing inventory into categories based on their value, usage, or importance, and counting specific categories on a rotating schedule. Now, cycle counting perform a regular count and recording the adjustment of a specific items. Then cycle counting counts the small and pre-selected sections of inventory multiple times a year, sometimes as often as daily. Now, there are many types of cyclic counting. So first is ABC cycle counting. So inventory is categorized into ABC classes based on their importance or value. And then we have random sample counting when items are choosing randomly for counting. And then we have control group counting, which is focuses on items prone to discrepancies to monitor the pattern. Now we will see how to do cycle counting in our system practically. So these are the process for performing the cycle counting process. So first process is to create the ABC classes. Second is to create a ABC classification set. Then we will create ABC assignment group, and then we will set cycle counting for our items, and we'll check on hand quantity. We'll create a cycle counting and we'll create a manual count schedule. Then we will generate a count sequence. Then we have to run the process for cycle counting, that is print cycle count listing report. Then we have to record the count sequence, that how much quantity we found out after the physical counting process. Then we have to post those adjustment in case of discrepancies. And again we'll check the on hand quantity, that it has been updated or not. Then we have to review our completed transactions. So we will start with the first one, that is to create the ABC classes. So we are now seeing this practically on our system. So we will create on the setup and maintenance. Then we will click on this task list and we will go on this manage implementation project. and we'll click on overview. So we will select our implementation project and we'll search for the task manage ABC classes. So we will click on this task manage ABC classes. Here we will click on go to task. And here we will create a class, ABC class. So I'm writing the name BISP paints class. And then I'm writing here BISP paints class 1 and I'm saving this now. Now we will perform the second step, that is creation of ABC classification set. So now we have to classify this. We will click on go to task and we'll create a classification set. So name of our classification set will be BISP classification set. We will write this in small. Now we'll copy the same for description as well. Now, so the context scope we are selecting as, if we will select sub inventory, then we will get this option of selecting a sub inventory, but for now we are selecting the content scope as organization. Now in the criteria, I'm choosing the current on hand quantity criteria. Now we have defined all the mandatory fields. Now we will submit this. So our classification set has been created now. Now we will click on this done. Now our third task is to create the ABC assignment group. So we will now create ABC assignment group. We'll click on this add and we'll give name to our assignment group. So I'm giving name as BISP assignment group. And here we have to select our classification set, that is BISP classification set. Then here we have to add the class sequence. I'm selecting one and name of the class, that is BISP paints class. Now we can see that we have provided this mandatory field to the assignment group. Now we will save this. Now we have to perform ABC assignment. So here we can see, and we'll click on this submit. So the process is now submitted. Now we will see what is the next process. It is to set cycle counting for items. So now we will save and close this, and we'll go to manage items. We will go under product management and product information management. Now we have to click on this task list and manage items. So we have to first select our class, that is solid paints. Click on this item and we'll select the item 102, that is acrylic enamel. Now we'll click on this specifications part, and in the inventory portion we will see the cycle counting. So cycle counting is not enabled, so we have to click on yes, that we are making this enable for this item. Now we will save and close this. So after we have done this, we have to see the next step, that is to create that is to check on hand quantity of the item. So we have to check the on hand quantity of our item, that is item 102. So here I'm clicking on this inventory management, and under in this task list I'm selecting manage item quantities, and here our organization is already selected, so I'm clicking on the search portion, and here you can see that for our item 102 we have quantity 450, this. So now we have to save and close this. Now we have to create a cycle count. That is our next step after checking on hand quantities, to create a cycle count. So here I am selecting this count portion, and create cycle count. So I'm selecting sub inventory 3 because our item is associated with sub inventory 3, and then after choosing this we have to provide a count name. So here I'm providing BISP cycle count as the name. Then we have to select the ABC assignment group. So I'm selecting this BISP assignment group, and synchronization mode I'm selecting as none because we are doing this manually. So after or description I'm giving here is BISP monthly count. So we are supposing that it is a monthly count that is performed every month. Now we have, you can see we have selected. Now one thing we have to do is that we have to include this in count, the sub inventory 3. So we will go to the section and we'll do include in count. So now it has tick. So we'll move to next. So here is the define schedules and approvals. So second step is to define schedules and approvals. So here I'm selecting approvals as approval required always, and our workday schedule is already selected. Now we have to move to the next part. Now we starting count sequence we are selecting as 1, and maximum days before late it could be 3. Now we have to understand what are the other options available. So these are the counting parameters that we have defined. What is the start date? Today's day is already selected. Now the serial number options. So we have selected 1, and serial number adjustment is selected as adjust if possible. Now we will click on the next. Here we have to provide the ABC classes that we have created to our cycle count. So we are selecting our ABC class, and count per year we are selecting 12 because it is a monthly count. Now we will, I think rest of this is not mandatory. So now we will add our item for which we are performing this search. So here I'm selecting the item. (102). Include in schedule, yes. Item 102. Now we have done all the configurations to this in this cycle count. Now we will do the next step. We will save this and move to the next step. Now we will review our whole cycle count. Now we will save this. Now we will check for the next step, that is to create a manual count schedule. So for that we have to click on this and click on this action and click on this manual count schedules, manage manual count schedules. So in this, we have to create a manual count. So we have to select our item first, for which we are creating a manual count. So our item was 102. So we will select this, and then we will select our sub inventory, that is sub INV3. Now we will save and close this. So we have created a manual cycle count. Now we will go to the actions and click on this generate count schedule. So our process is submitted. Now we have to look for the next step, that is to print our print cycle count listing report. So now we will click on this action and we'll click on generate count sequence. So after this, we will perform a schedule process. Click on this navigator and we'll schedule a process. I will click on this schedule new process and we'll write the process name, that is print cycle count listing report. Print cycle count listing report. So we will click on this OK and we'll choose our organization name, cycle count name, BISP cycle count, and we'll choose a sub inventory, that is sub INV3, and we will now submit this process. The process number is 233. We'll click on this until it gets exceeded. So our process is succeeded. We will now click on this and we'll click on this republish. We will see this listing report in PDF format. So now we will go to inventory management and will record the count sequence. Now we will go to this navigator. We'll click on this supply chain execution inventory management. In this task list, we will select manage cycle count, and here we will record our count sequences. So count quantity we are selecting as 300. And the other mandatory field is counted by. So here we are selecting the person who has counted the inventory. Now we will submit this. So here we can see that one count sequence was submitted for approval. So we have recorded our count sequence. Now we will post this adjustment. So here we will select our next process, that is approve count sequence. So we have to select the person who has reviewed the inventory count. So here I can select the person's name, and then I have to click on the submit. Oh, sorry. I have to click on this approve. Now I will submit. So one count sequences were approved. Now we will do the next process, that is check on hand quantity. So we will check the on hand quantity of our item. We will go on inventory management. We'll click on this task list and we'll select inventory, manage item quantities. We can see that our item that was previously 102 was 450, now has been reduced by 150, so it is now 300. So now we will review our transaction. We will click on this review completed transactions. That was our last step. So we will search, and this is our transaction that in sub inventory 3 item 102 was showing in a snapshot as was previously 400. Now during a cycle count, we recognize that it is actually 300. So we have performed the adjustment of 150 quantities. So now in the system, it is showing from 450 to 300. So in this way, we can perform cycle counting. So today we have learned about cycle counting and physical counting. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you.